IBS is the construction, rough construction, the windows, the doors, the roofing, anything that goes into building, mostly residential, but there's commercial there too, of course. Yep. And then KBiz is it's the sexy side of the show. There's no doubt about that.
That's the big to do for plumbing.
All right, we're on the air. Everybody, welcome to the Make Trades Great Again podcast. I'm Eric. He's Andy. I haven't opened up that way for a couple episodes, so I thought I should. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Other than my technical difficulty here. I hit the maximize screen, and then you went away, and my notes were big, and
you just can't. I had all kinds of issues this morning, and that's why we're kind of late on hitting the record button. So we're gonna get right into it, though. Andy had a great idea for an episode today. Trade shows, and because we get questions about this, we've gotten fan mail on it. We get questions over in our DMs on Instagram, which is great. Thank you guys. I want to remind you before we even get going, if you haven't already, follow us on Instagram. Andy is at Mick_Plum, at Mick MICK_Plum PLUMB. I'm at Mechanical Hub, all one word, and over on Instagram. You could send us DMs over there with talk about the podcast in any form. Give us feedback, give us ideas, whatever you like. If you start that message though on Instagram in the DMs, start it. If you start that with MTGA to help us find your message a lot faster, and we will try to respond. Yeah, that's good, right?
Yeah.
If you're watching this on Facebook or on YouTube, yeah, I'd love for you to leave a comment in the comment section. It helps other people find our stuff. The more people interact with stuff, it helps us out big time. All right. Yep. Into it. Trade shows.
Tis the season.
Yeah, tis the season. It is kind of the season, isn't it?
Yeah. It's kind of, I don't know. I guess looking after doing a little bit of research, it kind of looks like they're just scattered throughout, but they largely are not in the summer. They're largely focused around the fall and the spring.
I got a theory why that
late
is.
Winter. Go for it.
Family vacations.
Oh, yeah.
I hate to hit you with a bomb like that. I mean, it's a truth bomb. You know what I mean?
Truth bomb.
No, that's my theory. I think that's actually kind of true. There's, family vacations are happening a lot more during the summertime. So it's harder for business owners and stuff that, contractors, people that might be interested in going to a trade show to attend. And then also, not so awesome to have all your employees tell your employees like, nope, can't have this week off. July 4th week, we're going to do a show in, Birmingham, Alabama. Or my least favorite city that I've been to a trade show in. It's going to hurt them big time. I know, because on a national level,
right, people
are looking to us for their travel plans and for vacation commerce, but do not go to Albuquerque, Mexico. I'm just going to tell you that right now. I hated it.
Blacklisted.
Oh my gosh. I hope I get some fan mail on that. No, I'm just kidding. All right. So let's get into it. Right now, Tim and John, hosts of the Appetite for Construction. Thank you.
I'm helping.
Yep. There are our brothers at arms for Mechanical Hub podcast, the Appetite for Construction podcast, the two hosts, Tim Ward and the venerable John Mason Brink. They are right now, as we're speaking, as we record this, they're attending the PHCC Connect, which is for the PHCC Plumbing, Heating, Cooling Contractors Association.
Yep.
It is their annual event, and that one is in Birmingham at the Jefferson Conventions Complex, they call it. And so, do you know anything about PHCC Connect, Andy? I've been there. No. It's like I said, it's for their membership. So it's an annual conference for plumbing, heating contractors that are members of PHCC, whether it's a local chapter, national, however that works. I'm not really familiar. I've only been member of PHCC once, and I really didn't take full advantage of it.
Yeah.
But there are training courses. There are tons of networking events there. There's a trade show that's happens for like a day or two, kind of abbreviated. This show isn't. It usually occupies like a small convention center or like a large event center at a very big, like a Marriott kind of event center or something like that. Somewhere they can get trade show space and lots of conference rooms for breakout sessions and stuff like that.
Yep.
It's a really well put together event. There's no doubt about that. I've attended a few of them, but it is, it's convening on, pulling people in from all over the country at a national level to like a different destination each year.
Yeah.
And there's also the PHCC plumbing and HVAC apprentice contest, like national championship for apprentices there for the contest for the apprentices. That's kind of starts earlier in their year. They whittle it down. They get finalists that are represented by different PHCC chapters, and they compete. It's pretty cool.
Yep. No, I remember, when was that? 4 years ago that you guys
we've sponsored are you talking about the sponsorship? Yeah, so Mechanical Hub has sponsored a few different apprentices for the contest over the years. So what that means is we help, and other companies do this too, by the way. I mean, we weren't the first by any means. We were the last, probably. Your sponsorship pays for like the travel expenses of that apprenticeship, so it's not out of pocket for them. Right. So like we've sponsored like 3 or 4 of them. It was really cool. One guy in particular, like he was from Iowa.
Yeah.
And this was when we were down in San Antonio for PHCC Connect. We got to know him and his wife. Is really cool. So we helped cover their travel expenses.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's fun. And then in return, like Mechanical Hub got, we put our sign on it and all that kind of stuff. But
yeah,
our guy didn't win.
Nah.
But he did really well. I mean, to get to that point, I mean, it's not about winning, in my opinion. I mean, it is for the people, the apprentices, obviously. Yeah. It's exciting for them. I think as a bystander, like onlooker, spectator, I think it's impressive that they're there.
Yeah.
Yep. So, yeah, exactly. That's the first one I want to start with, just simply because it's happening right now.
Yeah, and then we got another one starting up next week. What is this? Service World Expo. Is coming up next week, the October 15th through the 17th in Phoenix, Arizona. And that one, I haven't been to Service World, but my understanding, based on what their website looks like and what I've seen about it, is a lot more on the business development side,
like networking and stuff like that.
Yep, looks like they got a pretty big list of talent that's coming there to talk about certain, business and things like that.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of these shows will have some like very recognizable keynote speakers.
Right.
Tim Ward from Appetite for Construction. He was just at the Service Titan Pantheon, they call it. It's like for their Service Titan contractors.
Sure.
The contractors use their software. They have a national event that happens once a year. It was down in Orlando this past week, and they had, I already got this wrong. It wasn't Service Titan that had this. There were some keynote speakers there, but it was actually John was at an event recently where Arnold Schwarzenegger was one of the keynote speakers, and Gary V was there. Did a whole session on Gary V. You know who he is?
I know the name. I can't place him where I know it from.
He's huge on social media about, motivating people on business and, utilizing networks and how to kind of grow your brand, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Huge personality all over, millions of followers, that kind of thing. And that was at the Nexstar event that John attended. And Nexstar is another membership thing, sales systems kind of thing.
Sure.
For like service contractors.
Yeah.
All right. So going by date, we kind of covered October, right?
Yeah. I think we got October out of the way. And that kind of ends that, doesn't it?
For the fall time, right?
Fall. Was there a November? I don't think there was.
I don't see any, but beginning of the year, we started off strong.
Strong.
Right?
Strong. Right at there at the AHR Expo 2025, February 10th through the 12th. Orlando. You know the drill.
Yep. We're both highlighting and deleting the same thing at the same time in our notes. So yeah, Orlando, February in Orlando is probably a better time of year to go to Orlando than, last year.
Or right now.
AHR
Don't go to
Expo was,
Orlando right now.
oh yeah, AHR Expo travels around to different cities. Last year it was in Chicago. This year it's in Orlando. Then it's either going to go to Vegas or Atlanta. Like that's the rotation.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't look up further than next year. Right.
Right.
But AHR Expo for you and I has been big for many years for our businesses, like our own businesses. How we've attended it for Mechanical Hub purposes, for the podcast. We record live episodes there. People have listened to them before. We see just a boatload of cool cats, contractors from all over the country. Our Instagram fam, right? Our Instagramly, Instagramly. Is that what we're going to go with? I feel like I'm rambling. So one of the foremost and largest HVACR events, showcasing the latest industry innovations, hands-on exhibits, seminars, training, installations, all that kind of stuff. If you want to find new product coming into your industry and you're in the heating industry and cooling, it's going to be there, right?
Right. Yeah, it's a big deal.
It is a big deal. It's
a lot of individuals go to that. A lot of people. So
it's the largest show for plumbing heating in North America.
Right.
By quite a long shot, actually.
Yeah.
That is, if you're interested in attending a show for those types of products, that's the one you want to look at, and it's a ways away, so you got time to figure that out.
I think that, one of the things that I guess we've talked about this before, but one of the biggest things, the takeaways that I've gotten from AHR is being able to go and chat with specific manufacturers, getting that inside scoop. You don't have to, not that the local sales rep is not a good avenue for information, but you're going to go there and be able to talk to a product engineer, maybe put a product in your hand.
Yeah.
Especially if you're looking at something new and, talk application, right? With someone who is a specialist generally in application.
And usually those people that are attending and working the booth are not typically regional people. They're usually like from the corporate. They're usually the head person of that product line, right?
Right. That's what I'm saying. You really can get, some in-depth information. Especially, if you got to get to the right person on some of the bigger companies, because there's a lot of layers of sales that may be working in the booth, and it's, getting to the top product engineer. That might be a very busy individual.
Absolutely. During a show like this.
Yeah, you walk into the Daikin booth or something like that, or the Carrier booth, and be like, I want to talk to the product engineer for rooftop units. Well, ain't going to happen.
Maybe not right away. Right. I mean, they might come into the conversation, but there's definitely going to be people there at a high level. Questions. They're going to help you.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, absolutely. But that's I think where I've gotten the biggest takeaway from AHR is being able to go in and look at a product. Maybe it's something that you've never seen before. Your local distribution doesn't have them, or, and you have to order one. Well, maybe, what if you don't like it? Right.
Yeah.
Well, here's your opportunity to go put the thing in your hand or look at it and ask questions. And, hey, I see that this has got, 3-inch connections on it. Do I have to use 3-inch vent pipe on it?
Right. Right.
I don't.
Well,
like
as the industry changes too, we've talked about it at length, and our friends who have podcasts and that talk about heating, HVAC, that kind of thing as like their subject matter, talk about it all the time. New technology as we change from, into this electrification we're kind of past the whole introduction of that, right? We're in it, or I guess it's changing all the time, but as we see new products come online, these manufacturers, by and large, as a rule, and I don't see that changing anytime soon, are making their biggest announcements. They're holding on and targeting dates to announce things at AHR.
Yep.
Like, if it's going to be their 2025 product introduction,
yep,
they might be ready in the fall even of 2024, and they might not even tell you about it until 2025
right.
Because they want it on display. They want people that are going to be purchasing this stuff to be able to see it, touch it, like you just said. And that's huge. I mean, you and I have found products over the years many times that have made their way into our daily business offerings, that kind of thing.
Yep. You just showcased one the other day. You know, that Zilma ZBT7. I mean, that's where we first saw that. You and I were walking down the aisle and like, whoa, what
tractor
the heck is
beams
that?
pulled us into that thing.
Exactly. So.
Yeah. I mean, anytime a company like Grundfos has a new circulator, Takeo, same thing. Like they are going to display upcoming products and products that are announcing like for sale, like right now, that kind of thing. It's going to be on display there, and then new technologies, everything. You're going to find out about companies that you didn't know existed, which is really exciting to me always, because it's usually those companies you didn't know were there are the ones that offer that one product you're kind of like really been needing. You know, they answered that question, like, does this exist? I need to find a company that makes this, Yeah. And that's where you're going to see it. AHR Expo. We spent a lot of time on that because it is a big thing. It's related to what we do.
Following that up, what do we have? The WET show?
We do. Yeah. So WET, WWETT, is what it's wastewater
equipment, treatment, and transportation.
There you go. Equipment, treatment, and transportation. So this, from a plumbing, this is for plumbers. Okay. Mostly. In our audience, people that are in the plumbing industry are going to maybe be interested in WET. Okay. Right. If you at all are connected to drain cleaning, you're looking at drain cleaning as a additional service you're going to offer. And then everything that kind of goes along with that, equipment, obviously, the service side of business as it's related to drain cleaning. There's a lot of breakouts and educational sessions that are catered to that kind of service offering for a service company, contractor. And then there's just really some cool stuff. And you and I briefly talked about it, I think recently. I brought it up, like we saw there last year. I tried talking Heather into while we're standing there after seeing it for the first time, like 4 minutes ago. We're standing in the company Satellite, they make like porta potties and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They have this massive, massive display. It's probably like 100 by 100 booth, right?
Yeah.
And they have all these trailers, these very nice looking like fiberglass, glossy white trailers. And they're those very nice, like portable bathrooms, like multi-unit, stall kind of bathroom things.
Yeah.
But not just that.
What's that? Up into it? Like a set of stairs or a ramp up into
it?
Yep.
Yeah. Like aluminum trailer. You can get them pretty fancy inside, that kind of thing. But not just those. So those are interesting to me as a business model. If you had the manpower and the equipment to invest in the capital to invest in that, there's some huge money to be made if you know how to run a business, doing something like that, because you're offering like for events, right? And like there's gonna be a wedding and people don't want. It's in somebody's backyard. Like that's a nice bathroom. Okay. But anyway, it's way more than that. So I'm talking to the guy at Satellite at the WET show, and he's telling me, he walks me over to this trailer, and it's not bathrooms. Yeah. It's laundry.
Interesting.
And I'm like, why do you have a laundry trailer? He's like, natural disasters.
Yeah.
People got to clean stuff, and we need, how about, linemen on the road?
Yeah.
Traveling to a place, and you're there for 4 or 5 days at a time, a week. You're on the road for weeks at a time. Yeah. Like these people you got to give them services, so something like that was really interesting. I'm like, holy crap, wait a minute.
Yeah.
So if you lived in an area where something like this was prevalent, this could be a huge opportunity for your business too, and then, other things like showering facility, all that kind of stuff.
We have
same reasons.
A local company here. What does they call themselves? Big Sky Mobile Catering. That all they do is like tractor trailers that are shower houses, laundry facilities, commercial kitchens, and they pull them out on the fires is where their primary
perfect example.
Any natural disaster, they can pull up and have a commercial kitchen and a commercial bathroom facility in a field in a matter of hours.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's pretty wild.
And it's really a lot more accessible, like in this scenario, than I would have ever thought. I never gave it a thought before that, to be honest with you. So I learned about that at that show. Yeah, a lot of drain cleaning there. Again, there's a lot of municipal stuff. So there's those like big vac trucks and stuff that,
Yeah.
I mean, they're on display and they're massive and they're, of course, like the shiniest ones and painted up and all, they're really cool looking.
Lots of chrome.
So, yeah. Some excavation, some like specialized excavators and stuff like that are really cool. Like wheeled excavators with the outriggers and they got them set up and stuff. And you're like, wow, that's pretty neat.
That's pretty sweet. Yeah.
So that's a wet show. That's happening this next year in February,
Indianapolis.
17th to 20th, Indianapolis at the convention center there. And then it's going to move to a different city the following year. I'm not sure where.
Yeah. So what else? I thought I saw something else February. Where was our list going?
Well, we got March. March kind of starts it out again. Like it gets a little heavy in March. A few things going on. So in March of 2025, there's the ACA conference and Expo. So ACA is the, I'm not a member of ACA, but they are the Air Conditioning Contractors of America. So it's a pretty important membership industry for HVAC.
Yep.
Tons of, ACA is very big on education. Right. And so they have a conference and an expo meaning like a trade show floor.
Sure.
So you can see these products and things like that. Probably, I'm guessing, you would see the products on display at ACA that you would maybe have first seen at AHR. But if you can't get to AHR, maybe ACA as a member is a better option for you too,
Yep.
And that one's in Austin this year.
Yep. Yeah.
Never been to ACA. I'm not a member, so I don't have a lot to expand on that.
Right. Oh, there's the other.
You know what? We did skip one.
Yeah. IBS, KBS.
Yeah. So there's a great big one. And this one's in Vegas, right? You and I have been to this before. I've been to
That's a fun show.
It is huge.
It is gigantic. That one, ChatGPT gave us some detailed information on that yesterday. I was playing with a new feature there. 1,900 vendors are on deck for the 25 show.
For the International Builders Show, or IBS.
Yep.
And then it's kind of two shows in one because there's the International Builders Show and KBIS, which is the
Kitchen Bath Industry Showcase.
Okay, there you go. And they're like sister shows, like they happen simultaneously at the same convention center. But they're really two different organizations, right?
Yeah.
Because the IBS is the construction, rough construction, the windows, the doors, the roofing, anything that goes into building, mostly residential, but there's commercial there too, of course. Yep. And then KBIS is it's the sexy side of the show. There's no doubt about that.
That's the big to do for plumbing.
It is. Yeah. Faucets, fixtures.
Well, and even more so than that, I mean, appliances.
Yeah.
What else? They had
so much into design, like
very, very cool lighting. I mean, it's anything you're putting
tile.
Yeah. Anything you're putting into a kitchen or a bathroom is likely going to be on display there. Somebody's got something
from the highest end possible.
Yeah.
The most exclusive Italian marble made by some, I could have went down a road that I was some Italian marble made by the most, skilled craftsmen from Portugal that, I don't know. No. Whatever. You get it. It's like, honestly, like at another level for sure. Yeah. I mean, there's stuff on display there where I look at it and I'm like, yeah, I'd like that in my kitchen, but I probably couldn't even afford the light fixture.
Yeah.
At all.
They had some really cool manufactured housing. That is like modular. But it's not a modular house, but technically it is.
Yeah, it's offsite built. It's factory built. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it was very cool. You get
it
to walk
was so cool. I want to hold on though.
See that, but
the manufactured housing that you and I, and I looked at, it doesn't look like it was made in a factory.
No, it didn't.
I mean, you could not convince me this was
Yeah.
craned in on site, set on a foundation, be like, there's your house. You know what I mean? It was crazy.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt.
That's right. The other thing I saw that was there that I thought was interesting there was the first time I've seen an outdoor living section. So they had like a whole patio backyard. I don't remember what they called it, backyard barbecue or something like that, where they had like Traeger and Pit Boss and all the outdoor cooking, and it was kind of cool to walk through that and be like, oh, this is pretty sweet. And then of course you're gonna have samples if you've got grills and. There was some pretty fantastic brisket going around out there.
I'll tell you what, if you're in the market for if you've been hinting around it, I think I need a new grill, or do I want a pizza oven, or things like that. And you go to that outdoor living section of the builder show, kitchen, bath, whatever section that is attached to. Fair warning.
Yeah.
You will end up spending money shortly thereafter.
Yeah.
You're not buying at the show, but you're going to leave the show, find that product, and buy. I warned you. Warned you.
Blown budget.
Yeah. Well, you get to see the stuff that maybe isn't accessible, very immediately local to you, depending on where you live, Duquesne and Napoleon and these other grill companies and, manufacturers of this kind of equipment, that maybe you don't see on display near you at Home Depot or Menards or Lowe's. You know what I mean? Higher end stuff.
And I was just going to say, it's the higher end. It's the professional grade, instead of your consumer grade. You're not going to see it at, like you say, at the Tractor Supply or whatever.
Right.
So yeah,
Murdochs.
That's a good show.
You're a Murdoch guy. That's what you got, right?
Could have a Murdochs.
Yeah, it is a cool show. So that was back in February. We had skipped ahead a little bit to March.
So let's see. Did we cover the Flow Expo, March 25?
No, we didn't. So Flow Expo, that's in California, and that's kind of like a Western plumbing and HVAC show, right?
Yeah. So it looks like this coming up year, 25, is their 50th anniversary. For the West Coast plumbing and HVAC professionals, with a focus on latest technologies and industry networking opportunities. So,
yeah, and there's even room for 6,000 plus participants and over 150 exhibitors, they say, on their website.
I think the Flow Expo is probably another one that's going to be similar to almost more like a PHCC chapter or an ACCA, where they're a little bit smaller events than, IBS or AHR, but not something to overlook because, they're, it's a smaller event. They're going to be places where you can go do the same kind of thing. You can get a lot of good information. You're going to have less competition to get information from, if that makes sense.
And if the focus of the show is what you're really looking for, so in this case, plumbing, HVAC, but you want to get both in one house, right?
Right.
Smaller than AHR, but AHR doesn't have plumbing fixtures and faucets and things like that. There is plumbing involved at AHR. There's water heaters.
Yeah.
There's boilers, there's pipe valve fitting, there's all that goes into the plumbing industry. Yeah. But the main focus of that show is heating and air conditioning. There's no doubt about it, right?
Yep.
And so if you want to see more, traditional plumbing expedition, it's going to be something like that Flow Expo. Yeah, right. That makes total sense.
Yep.
Also, these big shows tend to go to big cities or big destinations. It's not cheap to go to Vegas. And that's KBiz, IBS, AHR goes there on rotation. Look, these are destination cities. So it's more expensive.
Yeah, definitely.
I would imagine that the Flow Expo in Pomona, California might be less expensive.
Right.
I don't know. I haven't looked into tickets, so unsubstantiated claim.
Yep.
Build Expo. And that's in multiple cities. I don't know a lot about the Build Expo, but I think I had the website pulled up here. So their website says it's the construction industry's most important show, the America's premier regional building and construction event.
Yeah.
it is absolutely revolving around construction in all of its forms, according to their website, and it's in multiple cities, like all over the place. Charlotte, Tampa, Austin, Dallas, Houston, Atlanta, Los Angeles, South Florida. Like, so it's in a lot of different places.
They're
so check that out.
They're trying to find those. It's probably a shorter term show,
couple days at a time,
smaller scale, but because they're bringing it to you or closer to you. So,
yeah. I think it's more of a regional, and it's probably attended by regional reps and things like that for the manufacturers.
Sure.
And it's probably going to show more regionally specific product on display. So, I don't know. Maybe, is this the last one? Do we cover
Ish?
We
got Ish. March 17th through 21st, 2025, Frankfurt, Germany. Largest thing of all things. I'm still a little bit mind blown about how big Ish is. And
I've tried to explain it to people. It's massive, isn't it?
It doesn't even make sense. It's like if it's in a building, it's at Ish. Like, but that's not even it. It's all, I mean, it's HVAC plumbing related, right? I mean, there's lighting, but there's not like lighting. It's not like electrical, and it's not windows, but there's windows there, you know?
No, I don't think they're window. I mean, it's plumbing and heating, right?
Yeah.
Here's, let me zoom out 10,000 feet. It's at a place they call Messy Frankfurt. Okay. It's in Frankfurt, Germany. It's on a fairgrounds, like a, what do they call it? Trade fair. Its facilities has its own, it's so large, multiple buildings, convention center buildings made specifically for these exhibitions. There's like 14 of these buildings, each one of them multiple stories, or most of them multiple stories, large footprints. Let's say the floor in building 5 is 30,000 square feet and there's 4 floors, right?
It's got to be, yeah.
Okay. And there's, and Ish or ISH in Frankfurt takes up like 11 or 12 of the 14 buildings, multiple floors in each. And there would be a building completely dedicated to just bathtubs, or like a floor in a building, just bathtubs. Like, it sounds like, how could you have that many bathtubs? Well, I'm going to tell you, there are bathtubs available on this earth. They're like $30,000. And then there's bathtubs that are, $500, right?
Yeah.
And the designers are on display with like the most beautiful, what would it be, like a diorama, vignette? I don't know, display of their bathroom collections and things like that.
Like Toto was one of the big sponsors
they have their own
last year. They had their own building.
Yeah.
Like, it's pretty wild.
Yeah, Growy, their own building.
Yeah.
Like it's absolutely mind-boggling.
Mind-boggling. Yeah.
No, it's huge. Whole buildings that are just like boilers. Yeah. Everything last year that we, it's every 2 years actually. So you and I were there year and a half ago.
Yep.
And it was everything had a heat pump attached to it in some way or another.
Yeah.
Because of the current industry,
Exactly. So here's a handful of the categories from Ish.
Okay.
Bathrooms, water bearing systems, installation, heat generation, indoor air, intelligent building management, software solutions, sanitary and HVAC production, and then Ish Global. So it's quite the thing.
It's fantastic. A lot of what you see at Ish, however, is probably either years away from or maybe not going to be seen in North America. But it's where the technology is really kind of coming from, as an epicenter on display from all over the world.
Yeah.
I've seen stuff at Ish where we're not going to get it. I wish we could. But the Turkish people make some amazing tanks of all types, and I look at it and I'm like, man, I wish I could get that in Minnesota. But either way.
Yeah.
That's where our boilers come from.
Yeah.
The big V, Germany. and Viessmann has an entire like multi-level exhibit at Ish, or has in the past. I mean, these booths are so large that in some of them they have private restaurants inside of them.
Right.
They serve you cocktails. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's huge. So if you ever want to go on like a really cool vacation and you're into the idea of going to Europe, you want to attend a show like this, write it off for your business expenses, hit us up in the DMs to tell you all about it. It's pretty cool.
I think we covered our list.
I mean, there's other industry events, there's no doubt. But we try to cover the ones that stood out the most.
Yeah, I think we covered the big top ones, especially here in the States. Hopefully we didn't miss anything absolutely like glaring. It was like, oh, we forgot about that one. But anyway, if there's something, if there's a show that you've attended that you're like, everybody should come to this, let us know, especially if we didn't mention it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Shoot us a message. Let us know what's up. If you've ever taken away something from a show that you feel like, hey, I need to share, this is why I go to a show, or if you have a question about, hey, should I go to a show? Over the years, I mean, we've both talked to numerous people that are like, I don't know, we don't ever go to those. We just go to the local, distributor has a little trade show in the back of their facility, and they get 4 or 5 booths or 10 vendors out there, or 20 vendors for a little luncheon. We just go to that, and it's like, yeah, I mean, those are great. You're going to meet the local guys there, maybe win some cool prizes, but come check out one of these if you've never been to a big trade show. It's worthwhile.
I totally agree. And because they're probably not going to be in the city you're at, the majority of people listening, I mean, obviously people live in Vegas or but a lot of them are destinations. And so you can couple on a little bit of R&R,
Yep.
But it's bigger than those like counter days or lunch and learns like you're talking about at your supplier, where you're going to be able to check off a lot of boxes and know a lot more leaving those shows about what maybe you could start thinking about selling in your business, what you're going to be starting to see out in the industry, because your competitors are going to be there and they're going to start installing that equipment. And that might be important to you to know that it even exists before you start seeing it for service, things like that.
Yep.
I mean, there's a lot of different ways to look at it.
Yep.
Right on, brother.
Cool.
There's another one.
Right. Another one down.
All right, man. I appreciate it. Have a good day.
Yep. You as well.
See you.